Hello. Oh, what a time. What a time it is. What a time in time indeed. I was thinking I need to start structuring these a little bit better because I always sort of informally just talk about the vibes of like the energy of right now at the top. And the energy today is okay. It's been it's been like a slow day, but it's been a fine day. But the energy coming up, because we have the first eclipse of this eclipse cycle in 3 days on the 7th. It's the 3rd right now. Yeah, so there's been just little sprinkles and little pops and flashbangs of stuff. I'm just like, is that what that is? And there's other transits and there's other things going on. I figure I shouldn't get too deep in the intense astro. Let me adjust this a little bit. But oh, buddy, I feel like I shouldn't get too deep in the intense astrology of it all. But just right now is an interesting. It feels a little. I was gonna say it feels a little calm before the storm. It doesn't feel. I don't think we're gonna get. Buddy. He says, "Can I rub face on cord?" And I say, "No, you cannot rub face on cord. Cord moves. Cord moves and has things connected. No. Come here. Rub your face on my hand and not the cord." Cat chaos is cat chaos. I expect nothing less. But yeah, I don't think we're gonna get like a hit on. Well, the news cycle has been what it has been this week, so that's a little bit of a hit, I guess. But I think that the first eclipse of this cycle is gonna be more chill, and the second one's gonna be where things like really go. I forget which is first. I think lunar is the one on the 7th. But yeah, I'm just sitting and waiting. I'm just sipping my tea. Yes, hello, little one. Okay, this is the cat. The cat does the live portion of the program. You want the attention. Let the people see you. He is a good little dork. Oh, but you made the other cat move. Anyway, so yeah, it's a very interesting. I do want to look at the astrological. But buddy, please. Some of these things can fall, and I don't want them to fall on you. Please. Hello, the cat is causing chaos. It's fine. He's adorable. He's a very adorable little gremlin. But so far he's tried to pull the light down, and then he was like, "Let me rub my face on the computer stand." And I'm like, the computer stand is a no. Oh. What? No. Okay, goodbye. Noah the Trump. What? I mean, like, I was rambling about the eclipse timing and the everything of it. The news cycle this week and the eclipse in a few days, and I think the actual stuff's gonna get stirred up probably on the second eclipse of the cycle, so in a couple of weeks. But man, I'm a little. I don't really want to find out. I'll just Google it really quick. I think it's lunar first. Lunar eclipse, 2025. Yes, it's lunar first. Okay. But yeah, so let me actually. I was also saying, yeah. So the lunar eclipse is in a few days. It's on the 7th. And then the solar eclipse is going to be, 2-ish weeks after that. So Yeah, I was saying it feels like hello, hello. There's been a lot of, obviously there's been a lot of like little ripples of things, but like, nothing's really gonna like hit until it's like pretty much on the eclipse. Um, but things have been messy, but things have been like calm today, at least for me. Um, so like as far as the broader energy, I'm just like, what's stewing? What's brewing? Why is it calm today? What's going on? Like, not in a paranoia way, just in a like curious. How are you guys doing? How are the folks? How's the crew doing? I know I haven't studied it yet. I need to like actually look at the chart. Um, that's my chart. I don't need my chart. I need the chart for now. Chart for now. Yes. Um, shiny and malleable. Is that a good thing? The halls were shiny and malleable. But yeah, we're having a lot of little. We're having some like outer planet transits in the like general astrology, which should just be like broader vibes and hopefully not like banging on anybody's door unless it is a personal transit of yours. I love that. Finding missing things can be so satisfying. Sometimes the intuition's really hitting, and sometimes I'm just like, I don't think I'm ever gonna find that. But I had one of the things that's on my ancestor altar now was just like lost for years and years and years. And I didn't do like a location spell, but I did just like try to find it a couple times. And I was like, I'm so sure I'm right. I'm so sure. And I think I was like it wasn't the room that I thought it was in, but it was in like, it was like one room over. So it's like I was in the right direction, but the wrong specific location. Finding stuff with intuition is always hard, but I did find it eventually, and I was so happy. So, regardless. Nice. Right where you were told there would be. Yeah, I was trying to do it on my own. I was trying to like not ask for help. I was trying to just be like, can I just find this? Just me? And I almost could. I'm sure if I had actually asked for help, I probably would have had better results on that one. But that's awesome. The energy was making it like that. Gotcha. I wondered if that was what you meant. I was really just like, did the floors get shined? When you said shiny map, I was just like, So, okay, got you. Yeah, so what's happening like right now? Uranus is still at 1 degree of Gemini. That's gonna be there for a while. I've been watching Pluto. Because Pluto's been Pluto is trine Uranus and some other stuff, mostly just Uranus, in Aquarius, 1st degree of Aquarius. So that's like, I digress. I won't go deep astro nerd, but that's just one of those things that I'm like, if there's an eclipse at the same, because those are again outer planets move really really slowly, so neither of them are going to be like out of that for a while. They're going to be trining each other for a while, but that having them both be at 1 degree of a sign that they just ingressed into at the time of this eclipse is just something that, like, to me, because Pluto's got those like deep like underworldy, but also like in modern astrology, right, which is because Pluto's not in traditional astrology because they didn't know the planet existed, or not planet, whatever, dwarf planet. So in like the modern astrology context, it's very much got those like underworldy, a little bit like seedy almost kind of vibes. Like Pluto's not your pal normally. and then Uranus is the unpredictable, the like spiky, like energy spikes, not spiky. Spiky is Mars, but like energy spikes was like Uranus. Um, so just having those two in a positive relation to each other, so like a trine, is a good way to be. It's like they're sort of they're not next to each other, but they're kind of working together in the same like they can jump what's the word, bounce off of each other a little bit and like towards a common goal of like the bang 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 moving forward in a direction together a little bit. So anyway, it's just like for a broad sense energy outer planet thing, that's very interesting to me to have this like sort of like heavy penetrating Pluto energy working together with this not frivolous but very active Uranus energy. It's an interesting thing to me at the time of eclipse season and everything else, just to be like, I want to see what's going to happen, but like I'm not scared, I'm not worried about it, but I'm not, it's just going to be interesting. It's just going to be interesting. It's like, ponder. Anyway, just quick peek to see, yeah, Mars trine, or Mars square moon. Yeah, it's an interesting time. A lunar eclipse with, what is that? That is the, yes, okay. So, I'm trying not to get too deep into my astro nerd dumb, but it's a good way for me to gauge and vibe out the energy. You know. How have you been? How have I been? I've been okay. I've been, the last few days have been just like unpredictable, and there's been a lot of, so this is this is fun. I realized this will give you an impression of how close I really pay attention. Like I look at the astrology, but I don't like read my chart very often and like look deeply at my transits. I realized I've already had the first two like exact hits of my Saturn return, and I just missed it. I knew I was in my Saturn return. Like I know I'm in the period for it, but my Saturn is in very, very early Aries, and in July, at the beginning of July, Saturn went across my natal Saturn placement, and then like on the 12th of July stationed retrograde and started moving backwards, and then had another exact hit at the end of July. And I'm like, I didn't take notes. I didn't like write down like, what themes am I dealing with right now? I'm like, I know what themes I'm generally dealing with, but it was very funny to me to realize that I just missed it. So yeah, spiritual stuff can be sneaky. Yeah. Well, and like, cause there's a discrete date for like when Saturn hits the point of the Saturn return, but your Saturn return is years long because Saturn moves slowly. So it's just like, like I said, I knew I was in it, but it was so funny to me when I realized I had completely missed it, because I'd been like, I want to take notes, I want to see what the themes are, I want to see what struggles I'm facing and what things are the. So again, I know what things I'm dealing with broadly, and the fact that it's like, it stationed retrograde immediately after it hit and went back. Like Saturn was just sitting basically within whatever, like 0.05 or 0.03 degrees of that same thing, for weeks probably. So it's just, the exact hit doesn't necessarily even matter as much, but I just thought it was hilarious that I'm like, I love astrology, I want to see what the like energy is, I want to do this, and I was like, oh, I just missed it. I was just doing other stuff. So that's been the kind of energy for me this week of like realizing, oh, that already happened. Oh, this is this is a thing that I'm running into right now that I need to like, this needs my attention now. And then, oh, I'm also I'm trying to be good about my planning and scheduling and stuff. So I'm just like, I really have found myself in the goofy spot of I'm trying to embrace what I got, and I'm also trying to like figure out what I need to do to keep growing things and keep doing stuff. And it's just been it's been fine. It's been a fine, like the last week has been fine, but it's been weird, and it's been like a lot of like is it like sort of ping pongy, but like slow ping, just like thing happens. Wait a couple days, boom. Other thing happens. Oh, okay, got to deal with that. Bong, 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 boom. Other thing happens. It's just been this like sort of rhythmic shifting of focus in a really funny way. Funny to me. Um, yeah. So, and I did. So, like I said, speaking of like shifting of focus and like current hyperfixations a little bit. It is funny to me because I'm so late on this train of like everybody loves K-pop Demon Hunters and I've only just watched it. And I won't like, this is not like me reviewing K-pop Demon Hunters. Like that's not what this is going to be. But there's some really cool themes in it that hit on some of the other stuff that I've already been thinking about lately of like, I've been trying to, because this is the type of nerd that I am. I've been trying to like restore my parents' trying to figure out if I can restore or if I need to give it to somebody else to do my parents' old like 80s audio equipment stuff, right? Like my mom's old turntable and my dad's old tape deck and all this stuff, because I still have all their stuff. I still have all of their I still have all of my dad's tapes. I still have all of my mom and dad's records, like, because that stuff just didn't get thrown away. So it's just I've been in this headspace of like old music and old like tech and media forms and how that all works, and getting into like the science and theory behind how music is recorded and transferred and blah 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 and all that stuff, and then having like hello, oh my god, so many people, it's so good to see you guys. So yeah, I've just been on like, then I started watching K-pop Demon Hunters and seeing how like the music and the energy is represented in that movie was so much fun, because I was like I didn't know what to expect. I was like, it's a kids movie, don't have like your expectations like too high, but everybody likes it, it'll be a good time. And that's true. But Ed, I will just like little movie tangent of just the little tiger and the little bird killed me. Best part of the movie. But seeing like this whole premise and this whole like foundation that the movie is built upon is this like development of a spiritual shield through not just music but also like the energy of like fandom too. And I was just like, right, the tiger makes me so happy. But yeah, it's like this whole growth and not expulsion, distribution of energy throughout the fans of the music, and like everybody, and obviously these like sort of competing bands and competing forces and stuff, right? And like, so how they're sort of trying to neutralize each other, and how like, but they don't have their energies aren't like a clear antithesis of each other. It's not like this one's winning and now, well, for the sake of the movie it is, but like sort of the illustration of it is like, this is a blanket clear plane of energy, and instead of it just being gone or being completely eaten through, you can see these little facets with the energies being like subtly neutralized, which I realize I'm like, that's probably just like a cool way to animate it, right? But like, this is how my brain works in the spiritual thing of like, okay, this is a concentration of like an ulterior, a separate fandom that is like integrated within too, right? Like these are part of the point of the movie being like they're kind of competing for the same fans and the same distribution of energy for different goals is just like so cool and so well illustrated. And it's also like something that I loved about it too is like the heroes of the story, all the Huntrix girls, like the hunters, they're not like angels, right? They're not like demigods. They're just like slightly more powerful humans who know how to fight and use music as an energy force. And like I thought that was a really good and interesting, like a good way to like humanize this like good versus evil of like it's not angels versus demons, it's like people versus demons, right? um yeah, yeah, I know, except for Rumi. I was, yeah, I'll get, yeah, it just made me think of, so like I said in the Discord, I spent like an extra 5 minutes after I was like ready to go being like, oh wait, I need to find this book, because so obviously it's I can't even remember the title, which is part of why I wanted to find it so bad. But it's talking about like the sort of modern state of ecstatic states and like ecstasy in the modern world. Because, you know, ecstasy, not the substance, the feeling, right? And the spiritual energy of ecstasy is so vibrant and is really central to a lot of traditions and stuff. So like if you're in the traditional witchcraft space, which is, you know, right where I was in college and everything else, right? Then you're talking about like raising energy, you know, if you're like Wiccan, it's really called like raising energy, and all these different ways of like a community joining in an ecstatic state and raising energy through that. And like generally music being a central like glue to that experience that everybody's having. And so this book that I'm trying to find still excuse me, was talking about all the different places that you can kind of experience ecstasy in the modern world. And they're using this example of like, you know, there are people who are just like going to drum circles, right? That's one thing, and you'll go into a trance state and you may not be like ecstatic, but and then there's like ecstatic dance and like people who are really like dancers and that's what they do. And there's like the Sufi spinning thing, like there's all kinds of ways, but in like the common experiences of like ecstasy and trance would be things more like a church, a spiritual, you know, temple of some sort where you're like communing and like really focusing in and like having that energetic synergy together where like you are not in an ecstatic state normally unless it's something like a crazy youth group concert thing, right? And so then that's that point then being used to like transition into music and concerts and like concert venues, rock concerts, pop concerts, as one of the most palpable like exhibitions of ecstasy and energy and like raising of energy together, you know, in the modern day. And so just that's why, you know, I want to find the book because I want to like cite my sources and all this stuff. But that's just exactly what K-pop Demon Hunters is doing, of like even when there's not a performance going on, the energetic shield that they have put out is constantly sort of powered by these residuals. Yeah, exactly, like singing in a worship band or karaoke or whatever, right? But like just the point being like music is this core part, whether it's a rock concert or whether it's a worship band or whether it's a drum circle or whatever, like this like rhythm and usually some type of melody or droning element or something like that is this like, you know, ultimate uniting force for spiritual experience. And I just like, so yeah, that was what really struck me as I was watching the movie. Yeah, there's this persistent, ever-present energy like I said, like even when they're not actively performing, the presence of like the fandom and the recording of the music and the distribution, and it's sort of like I've talked before about how the way that I see energy in a global kind of a sense is very thread like. It's very interconnected. It's very matrixy, um, to where like you can kind of like pull on one little thread here, and it'll if the thing over here is the thing you're trying to affect, it will affect that. You can tug and will move, but also all of these other little bits and little knobs, knots, and like intersecting woven points will all move a little bit too because of the thing that you did, and because this thing moves and this thing moves. So the way that like energy that you work with energy in like spellcraft or in any kind of magical energetic anything, from my viewpoint, that's what I'm seeing, where you're pulling and you're tugging on this entire matrix, right? So that's, again, like that's exactly what's happening in this, like they're trying to seal the Honmun, right? Like that's the ultimate goal of the hunters, to like have this permanent energetic shield that just like can't be taken down because the music is so ever present, and the fandom is so passionate, and everything is just solid and set. So the person listening to the song on the subway is like contributing to the protection of this whole place. And I love that as a concept because, yeah, again, it just recording and transmission of music, and like, the energy of a recording versus a live performance is, again, something that just like I get a little bit more nerdy about. And obviously the energy of recorded live performances. My dad, huge Deadhead all his life. Like I said, I've been working on trying to like see if I can restore my dad's old tape deck and my mom's old record player and all this stuff. And I was going through my dad's tapes, and he has fucking dozens of tapes of like Grateful Dead live shows, and like just like the crazy fandom and energy that the fans of the Grateful Dead have in this like extremely devoted, energetic thing that is. Yeah, it's just it all like hit with me as I was watching the movie, where I was just like, oh, I'm also happy to see you, and thank you for coming. But yeah, I mean, I could make this into like a more structured lecture thing, but I just was excited about it, so I knew I just wanted to like talk about it for a little while. Yeah. I know. I really do. I know I'm trying to remember if I loaned out that book and never got it back, but I know I'll find it. I can put it in the Discord. But yeah, it's just, yeah. Oh, and Sinners. I still haven't seen Sinners yet. I am kind of dying to see Sinners, but I know it's gonna be like it's gonna be heavy, so I need to like be in the mood for a heavy movie. But I am like really excited to see it for the same kind of reasons, and like how all of the elements all interplay. But yeah, it's just, it's so cool. So, and like the other thing that's like, so this is gonna be me, tangenting into the technology and energy side for a minute. We can come back to K-pop Demon Hunters if we want to, because there's plenty more to talk about. But as I've been in this state of like, yeah, playing with and seeing what I can do with this like old tech and like old recordings, old audio stuff, I've always known that tapes were magnetic, obviously, like it's magnetic tape, that's what it does, but like it never really occurred to me because I haven't used a tape. I mean, I've used VHS tapes in the last 7 years because again, I like old sort of vintage tech, older tech, retro is a better word. But like I haven't used a cassette tape since I was like 11 at the latest, probably. So it didn't. I was a child and I wasn't thinking about like the technology that makes this work is all magnet based. It's all energy. It's all right. Like it's the energies that we're using as spiritual people are much more subtle, right? Like my I've I've been in the room with a person, and this was years ago. This is way before I had any kind of platform or anything. I've been in the room with a person who I don't know if it was partially hypnosis or if he was just really that good at energy work. But it was me and my ex at the time back in college. And we were just in this random metaphysical shop in, I don't even remember, were we in Minnesota or Wisconsin at the time? I don't know. Random, tiny local metaphysical shop. And this guy walks in and the owners are so excited and they recognize him. I'm like, who is this guy? And he's just one of these, like, he's been studied by 2 universities and XYZ program and all this stuff for his, like, level of mastery of energy and, like, energy healing and all this stuff. To the point that he could, like, he did this thing where even as somebody who believed in all of this stuff, I was like, he was like, do you want to see kind of just what it feels like? And my ex and I were just like, sure. But I was like, I'm still like, I don't want to be hypnotized by this guy. So I'm going to make sure that I'm like really solid and really grounded. So, you know, I'm not going to fight against him if he's doing stuff, but I'm not going to just like settle into it and let my mind go. And you know, by in that like hypnotic kind of way. And so, but he just does it, stands there, takes like maybe 15 seconds. There's no element of hypnosis that I could recognize. And he just does the thing where he just puts his hand forward and we both just move. Like there was no cognitive, there's no anything. So it's this like, this guy who's so good at energy management and manipulation that we just moved in this sort of subtle magnetic kind of a way. And it's like, ooh, okay, we'll come back to Gaga. We will come back to Gaga because this. Okay, we'll come back to that. But so it was just such an interesting thing to me, and that same little shop, they sold those like little telekinesis kits. I wish I still had mine because it's a really cool toy. It's a really cute, good, like practice toy, basically. But ultimately, what it is, it's this little like box that has a pin, like literally a sewing pin with the little yellow plastic knob on it. And you put the pin through the top of the little box, and you get this little like sort of tinfoil looking little spinner thing. You just place the little tinfoil spinner thingy on there, and you put your hand next to it, and putting your hand next to it doesn't move it. Obviously, blowing on it moves it. It's really light, so you gotta like keep your breath under control. But if you're really focusing and you can really like do the energy manipulation, it will move this way. And if you really focus and you start to get a little better at it, you can stop it and then have it move this way with the same hand. So it's not like your energy from your hand doing this is pushing. So it's just these really subtle magnetic-like transmissions of energy really were fascinating to me at the time and still are. And so when I got to messing with a tape deck and being like, oh, duh, this is magnets. This works because of like magnetic signals. Like that sort of keyed me back into all of those experiences that I've had of how the like subtle energy stuff that we do as spiritual people has the same kind of effect as a tape does in a really weird way. And obviously things like, you know, like a record works differently where it's all the groove and it's all very, very physical, but it's just very tiny, and then you use an amplifier to make the tiny thing big, right? Like you need an amplifier for a record player because the signals are just too small, unless the amplifier is built in. Text shit. But so that was having the same kind of thing. Yeah, just having that like experience of how magnetism actually literally transmits energy into sound, and how like we can have these things that feel like magnetism. And like even in, you can feel that sort of subtle energetic magnetism in people, like next to people. At least I can. I've had, it's mostly been romantic partners that this has happened, so I don't know. Aphrodite, hey girl, what's up? Probably. Um, but like, you can feel the people that you're like literally pulled to. And again, it's just all this like, this such exciting like world of how energies actually work. And like, it's not, it's not pulled like Velcro where like you get near each other and then you go, oh shit, we're stuck. What's up? We're friends now. Like that's also a thing. But like, again, when I meet the right people, and it can be friends, but it's more pronounced in romantic partners is the way that I should have put that. Where like the closer you get, the stronger the pull is until you're like, oh, and it's not like you can't pull away, obviously. But you just, you feel that energy building, and you feel this like energetic field that you are entering into as you're entering into it. Again, I feel like I shouldn't speak so generally about that. I haven't like talked to a ton of people about that to validate that experience, but I know that that's what I have felt, and I know that that's how that works for me. So it's just this idea of like, energy, whether it's Reiki or whether it's like your energy or whether it's earth energy or, like sort of ambient energy, cosmic energy, whatever you're using, like they all interplay a little bit differently, but you can see some of these same things that are like, y'all know this is like one of my favorite things about this. Like, you can see these like technical concepts that are like observable in a scientific way that are similar to metaphysical subtle energy concepts. And the whole thing of like, a quartz watch works because you put an electrical pulse into a piece of quartz that like expands, and that's your, that's your clock, and that's like your 1 and 0 or whatever, of this like binary thing of, it's a literal piece of quartz that expands when you put energy into it. And that's what, so it's like, we love quartz because it's like an amplifier, and it's a good storage thing, amplifier thing, whatever. Quartz is literally used for stuff like that in a scientific material context. I love it. I love this shit. I love the quartz radios. Same thing. Transmission of energy, and this like, energy in the crystal and the. I love it. I get so excited about it. And so, watching K-pop Demon Hunters, playing with all this old tech has really got me back in that space, and it's so exciting to me. Okay, coming back to Lady Gaga Abracadabra. Because yes, so when people say Abracadabra, like as a song was a protection spell, yes, the energy on that song is crazy. Like I know it might feel a little bit silly to like meditate to Lady Gaga. Like I didn't sit there and meditate to it, but if you can just get into that sort of like subtle trancey state, you can feel the energy on the song, and not just feel the bass and not just feel the beat, but like you can feel the energy if you really just let it sort of come and go a little bit. But so let me show you. Let's see if this. Hope this is the right Google thing to make it come up. So this, that'll do. This is the like purported actual like abracadabra spell, right? Where it's like it's a real thing that people do and that people use, right? So like this is I can't remember the exact origins of it. Like I do, now that we're talking about it, I kind of want to fact check it and just like double check everything. But yeah, this is a thing that's like, oh my god, there's so many ridiculous things on the Google. But so abracadabra like is a spell from somewhere that I can't remember the exact origin of. That is used, if I remember correctly, it's literally a protection spell. Like that's what it's for. I don't think I'm really trying to remember where it came from, but I'm not gonna get that right now. But I'm just my little spicy brain wants it. But yeah, I'll try to remember to look that up later too. But point being, abracadabra as like a thing is not supposed to be abracadabra open sesame or abracadabra poof a butterfly, a dove. Like that's not what anybody uses it for. It's more of a thing that is used for a more protective energy. So to take this thing that does have a little bit of a historical context to it in that way, and then make that into your song, which I assume, I don't know if she has a writing credit on that song. I assume she's not the sole writer of that song, but it's very much her brand to have like what is an actual real spell in this very consumable but very like intense and very energetic pop music format. It's very Gaga. It's very on brand for her to have the peculiar but real. Like the weirdest thing about Lady Gaga and all of her like lineage of weird stuff that she's done is that like basically all of it is like real stuff. It's like it's weird, but she actually did that, you know, like that, and that's part of the pull. That's part of the marketing of like, oh shit, she actually did that, right? So to have this real spell put in what feels like a very intentional package of pop music, and like just that's my thoughts on that. I think it was a really great way to do that. With whether or not it was 100% on purpose, that's fine. I'm not making that call, but I am saying the song feels like protection, and it feels like energy, and it feels like fierceness, right? All that stuff. So that's where I'm at with that. Good question. Good song. Good time. We love. Yeah. I know I'm a low-key like, what else? Because I haven't listened to like all of Gaga's catalog. I've just listened to the big stuff and like a couple, like here and there I'll listen to parts of an album for whatever reason. But yeah, I'm like, what if I meditated to Lady Gaga? What else would happen? Is that the next video? I've been trying to like think up more like fun ideas for actual videos. Because I always have ideas for videos I want to make, but they're never like fun enough. So I've been trying to think of more fun videos to make. So maybe I meditated to Lady Gaga. Maybe that's a video. I don't know. Oh yeah. I've seen the music video for Abracadabra also has the stuff. You know, it's got this is not this. I digress. Yeah. It really, really feels like that. Yes. Okay. I guess this is another sort of a K-pop Demon Hunters. If anybody has any questions about any of the shit that I've said, drop it in. I'll try to get to it. Like I'll try to read the chat a little more actively and not just keep rambling. I mean, but yeah, the thing that's I'm trying to not get like into the exact details of what happened in K-pop Demon Hunters. Just I assume if you're here, you're at least interested in what I'm talking about. But I want to assume that everybody's seen it. But what's happening in the last big song, like thematically, like the lyrics are all this very heavy, like claiming and reclaiming of energy, in a way that we can all do that. We can all like. I've talked before about energy reclamation and contract clearing. just like I release myself from all pacts, agreements, bonds, whatever word, insert word here, that no longer serve me in this and all dimensions. Like anything that I agreed to in the past that may have suited me then is no longer binding now. Like things like that. And you can't just get out of like every agreement by doing that, but you can clear out a bunch of junk that you might have done without realizing. And then having, again, like energy reclamation of like, I reclaim my energy in this and all dimensions kind of thing. In this and all dimensions is just kind of like a caveat additive that I got from somebody else somewhere down the line, and I liked it and kept it. Because it does feel like if I like lost energy in a dream, it feels like adding that would like bring that energy back too. But yeah, so like in that last song, they're like claiming and reclaiming, like reclaiming their own energy and claiming more energy in this like sense of like pride and this building. In a music theory sense, also there's this heavy build in that song, and it's beautifully illustrated, beautifully done. But yeah, like we can do that, right? Like we can all have we all already have probably some kind of like hype up song, and some kind of like, even if it's just a genre, just like any time that like your energy not just comes back, but like feels more like your energy when you're like dancing to music that you like, So that was another one of those things in the movie that I just loved, of seeing the claiming and the reclaiming of energy after, the thematic low points, right? And getting like energy swirling around and adding to what's already there, right? It's just such a good like point and like punctuation on everything else that happened up to that point, and the feeling of loss and then the reclaiming, just so good. Words are powerful, rhythm is powerful, melody is complex and interesting and can do all kinds of things. I've still never, I've talked about it before, I've still never like really gotten in deep and played with sound sigils, but I do want to, because the potential, but it's the kind of thing that kind of requires a development of a system to translate it all. So it's just one of those things I'd have to like sit down and take a weekend and like just do that for that weekend. But yeah, I think I'll leave my I think I'll leave my movie thoughts there for tonight, since we're getting near time. But like yeah, sound sigils, yeah, it's a whole thing. I originally, like, the concept was introduced to me on an episode of the New World Witchery podcast, and they like played with it on there and tried to, because they're a podcast, they're in an audio format, so it's very like, yes, see, and this, okay, I'm in such a good like excited mood about all this, because I started making more like jingles and things for my phone. Like I literally like went into GarageBand and made a little jingle for when I plug my phone in to like the car, right? Because there was a little mini TikTok trend of people doing that, and they were doing like meme sounds and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's great. I want music. I want to like score my life with this little iPhone hack, right? Of the like shortcuts and the play this audio file, right? So I did have a weekend where I just sat down and made sounds for a bunch of different things that had like the intention while I was writing the sound was related to when the sound would be played, right? So I made one for when my phone plugs in and charges, which is very similar to like the older, in like the mid to late 2000s, there were a lot more like text chimes and different beeps and different notifications and things. And then now like some of those things still exist, but like I wanted to make like my version of some of that. So when my phone plugs in, it has the charging sound that I want it to have to signify that it's charging, that like, I don't need to tell my phone that it's gaining energy, but it's just this little dopamine hit of like, I did a good thing, my phone is charging, energy's coming back there, I'm going to focus on this other thing, like put my phone down and work on this other thing, whatever. I also made one for I made a jingle for when I close TikTok because I spend too much time on TikTok. I've gotten better, and I put like screen time limit and everything, all that stuff. But I did make like a sound that's got this sort of, it's not super deep music theory, but it's got this little music theory element of like dun 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 dun, this sort of fanfare, but that last little chord in the jingle has these clashing notes to be like literally breaking off from the app. Right? Like, again, I get a dopamine hit from closing TikTok instead of staying on it forever. And in the music, there is this moment of clash that to me is like the breaking of the hold that the app has on you, or the breaking of the chain that you're stuck to and the mindset that you're in. So whenever I close the app, I get this victorious break with a resolution at the end. Like, so like that's how, scoring mini moments and having, so that's the closest I've gotten to experimenting myself with sound sigils, but it's so much fun. I want to do more of it, honestly, but that would be a different kind of thing. But I think it makes me very happy. Okay, I said I would be better at reading the chat. Oh yeah, the last one. Yeah, exactly about the last song. Yes. Reminds me of when you use a specific beat and you knock to let people know it's you. Yes. Love that. And like it is you are associating a rhythmic structure with your presence, and it's your announcement of yourself with this, like, based on this set and defined rhythm. Because the difference between, like, your parents knocking on your door going like knock knock and entering, like they like technically knocked but they didn't, right? Like as a kid, right? Or maybe not as a kid, and then your friend going dun 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 dun, and like actually waiting and having this like announcement and like auditory announcement that they're there, and wait for your like response in either like maybe knocking back if you're being goofy or opening the door, whatever. But yes. Love that. Sometimes we can't think of something for a reason. And yes, totally fair. Yes. Okay. This is so much fun. I've got so many little things I need to remember to like put in the Discord and stuff, but I'll do my best. I think I need to start winding down, calming down. We'll do our bibliomancy here in a moment. I'm just going to take a second. I'm going to take a breath, ground a little bit. So y'all can do that with me if you like. I think everybody who's here has had a reading with me, so you know how this goes. Just, I'm going to take a deep breath in and out and ground. Go in, out. Much better. I love being hyped up and being excited about energy and magic and music and all this stuff, but I'm like, okay, we need to calm down, have our moment. It's divination time. I gotta open up my stuff a little bit differently. Open up the different, instead of the sparkly exciting, I need the like calm and receptive. This has been such a fun live, you guys. Thank you so much for coming. Let's do this. Oh, I never turned the light on behind me. That's fine. Yeah. Okay. And again, you guys know how this works. Anybody who wants in on our little bibliomancy here, give your general energetic affirmation that, yes, I want to be a part of that. And let's see what we get for advice for... Not to get, I almost said the like unprecedented times thing, because like it's not like right now, it's not unprecedented times, but like stuff's weird. It's fine. our message for the moment and everything that's going on now. So if you want in, give that energetic thumbs up, and I'm gonna take another breath and see where we get. Okay. I knew we were going early. Number 7, Passage 7. Heaven is long, earth enduring, long and enduring, because they do not exist for themselves. Therefore the sage steps back but is always in front, stays outside but is always within. No self-interest, self is fulfilled. Ooh, that's another really nice one, especially for like all of the talk of like the communal energy raising and this sort of, yeah, having that strong presence and like you are here, but you can steps back but is always in front. Like you can be that like presence for the people around you if you want to guide something along and then let them take it. Stays outside but always within. Yeah, just long and enduring because they do not exist for themselves. I think that's a really nice thing to end on. Yeah, there's a lot going on, but when we can act with a little bit less self-interest and act for other people, self is fulfilled. It's basic, but it's lovely. I will take that as our message for this week. Thank you guys again so much for joining me. This has been lovely. Yeah, I'll try to remember to put some of those sources and resources in the Discord if I can find everything I'm looking for. And yeah, I'll think about making maybe a little bit more of a structured class thing out of what we just talked about today, because it was a lot of fun for me. Glad you guys had some fun as well. I'm gonna go relax. Have a good one, everybody. Yeah, I hope the rest of your week goes great, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.